So guys, today I'll be showing you Insta smokes on Mirage for window, obviously. Now there seems to be a little misconception about instant window smokes, because a lot of people, even ones that I know, think that there is only 9 spawns, even though you can smoke it instantly from 12 different spawns as a tier. I think this smoke will still be one of the most used ones on this map. To let T's take control of mid. In this video I will use the exact same settings I use when I play. I don't want to use like high settings because then this fence will not be pixelated and you might have your settings set to low in game. So I think this will reflect it better, like how to line up, or I line it up with my settings being like on the lower end. Now, I know there's a few videos already, but it was important to me to make one since Valve made an update on 16th of August, which they changed how the smoke spreads to the sides. So now smokes will not be too wide, and that causes a little bit of problems with some of the old Insta window smokes that I've seen, because they would pop on one side of the window and then wouldn't spread all the way. For example, if a smoke popped here in the past, it would spread around all of window, when right now it spreads only for like half of it, I would say, and then there's this gap that people could snipe you from. While I was working on this video and trying to find new lineups, I noticed there's a little inconsistency with the way the smoke spreads. So sometimes the smoke will spread in a way that will leave a gap here, but then you can throw the exact same smoke and the gap will not exist here, and then it will be here. Or you will throw it a third time the exact same way, and both gaps will not appear. So I don't know if it's something with the way the smoke works, if it's intended or if it's a bug, but it happens, so you need to be aware. The thing is, if you go out mid and you see there's gaps, like you're gonna see them, there is no one way, so you'll see like this side has a gap or this side has a gap, then you need to be aware that maybe a city will see the same gap and try to explode it. But I don't know if it will get fixed. I hope it will, because I think consistent smokes are something that we need in Counter-Strike, and it shouldn't be random, but at the time of making this video, that's the current situation we have to deal with. You see these gaps, they always show, but from the other side, there will not necessarily be a gap. Like right now there is. And from this side it showed that there was a gap, but there is nothing you can actually use. Now I threw the same smoke just to show you that it spreads differently. So now this area is a bit more closed off, and now I cannot see anything. Well, this area has a bit more gap. So hopefully someone from Valve actually sees this and addresses it, because it shouldn't happen. We'll throw it one more time just to check if both gaps exist. Again. I can see there is no gap here at all, but and on this side there is no gap at all, even though you can probably like find a boost here to see. But I actually used SV retro, like I have a bind for it, and it kept like every time the smoke lands, it lands differently. Like we can try it a fourth time, and you might notice there is like a different kind of gap right now. So you see now there is a gap again, and it's the exact same smoke, and there is nothing on the left. So I really hope they would fix it. Now in general guys, because of the mechanic of how the smoke works in CS2, it takes longer for the smoke to spread for the sides, so actually for the smoke to pop and cover window, it will take like half a second or a second more than in CSGO. So make sure you hear the smoke pops before you run out mid, so you don't get sniped by snipers. So for the first spawn, it's the closest spawn to Palace, so you'd see it spawn around here next to this wall. And the lineup is pretty easy from here, so the way I do it is I notice this small dot here. Looks a bit grayer from this spot, so I will just aim it here and use my runthrow bind. So it's basically like plus W and jump throw at the same time. And you see it lands perfectly in the middle of window. Now for the second spawn guys, the way I line it up is first of all I make sure I'm on the second spawn. He will be on the right side of the stairs. And then you would find above this fence there is this white area, and I find this area right here. So there's like a small curve paint that goes inward. You see it better like this. And I just aim right in the middle. You would use your bind. See, the smoke will land perfectly in window. Now guys, I will leave both the regular jump throw bind and the run throw, like the W and jump throw at the same time, in the description. In CSGO there's a lot of people, me included, that will just hold W while clicking jump throw at the same time, but I think it's something with the subtext that it will not be consistent, so sometimes it will press W a very tiny bit and sometimes it will happen a bit more, so the smokes will not land correctly. So I highly recommend just use the bind and forget about it. Now for the third spawn, guys, first of all you would be on the left side of the stairs this time, and this spawn is known for being like a crouch jump throw. There is still a way to do it crouched, as it was in CSGO, but with CS2 and no skybox and basically no limits, you can do it just with a run throw. So the way to do that, you would aim right here and use a run throw bind. You can see the smoke will hit the ledge, pop right in window. Now in CSGO, if you try the same lineup, it might actually fall down. And I tried to find it for a long time, but here it's basically perfect. You can see there is no gap. Moving on to the fourth spawn, you would spawn right next to this trash can. And in CSGO, you would crouch, you would line up here, and when you hit here, you will release. But in CS2 that doesn't work, you need to release earlier. So the way I would line it up is actually aim here. And then you can release when you hit this part. So in the closed up version, you would look right here, and when you hit this, you'll jump throw. And it looks like this. You can see the same smoke, it just lands right in the middle of window, so it's gonna be perfect. In general, this spawn is a little bit slower than the other ones, so make sure that if you do it, don't let people just run out mid before the smoke pops. This is the fifth spawn. To recognize this spawn, you stand right behind this line, but you're also the closest to A. And to line up the smoke, I would find this brown dot, you can see right here, and I would take from the left of it to the shadow. Looks something like that. You would pull the smoke and press your run throw. See the smoke lands perfectly inside of window. So guys, with this smoke and some of the other smokes, you would see a gap sometimes above this smoke, like around here, but nobody could see you. Like this is the gap I was talking about. You could see this kind of gap, but I think it's actually the smoke being lit up by the light. So you don't have to worry about this gap. The only gaps that you need to worry about is if you see it right on the right corner or the left corner, because these positions are a bit higher, and then people might actually use the gap. For the sixth spawn, you could see you're still standing behind this land, just a bit more to the right. You can also recognize it by standing right in front of the trash bags. And to line it up, you would find this dot right here, and you just aim either right on it or a bit above it. It doesn't really matter. So you just have to find it in freeze time, go a bit above. Toronto. See, the smoke will bounce here and land perfectly in the middle of window. Spawn 7 is basically right in the middle of spawn. So you would spawn right here, you could see you're right in front of the door and this wall, if it helps you remember. And the way I line it up is I find this part of the fence, which is a little bolder than the other parts. Then I just aim right here, when the top meets this part. And you can see that this part is a little bit bolder, and I would line up with this, so it would be right here. Then it press your run throw. You can see the smoke flies perfectly inside of window. For spawn 8, just spawn right on the right side of the A and on the left side of the stairs. And it's the exact same lineup from CSGO, so the way I find it is to find this mark, and I just aim in the middle and use run throw. You can see the smoke lands perfectly in the middle of window. Spawn 9 is the one that is closest to mid on this part of spawn. It's the exact same lineup as CSGO, so you just find this balcony and you aim bottom right of it. So you aim right there. Use run throw. You can see this smoke as well lands perfectly in the middle of window. So it should spray to both sides evenly, and then there will be no gaps for cities to work with. This is spawn 10. You would spawn the closest to this shadow, and it's the closest to mid on the third line in spawn. Now the way I would line it up is I would take this window frame, the right side, and I would go down till I will almost hit this line. So you go down, so about here should be fine. You press run throw. Now if you are not so sure, go a bit more up with the lineup and not down, since it will still hit the window. If you go too much down, the smoke will hit this wall and fall down. For spawn 11, you would spawn right in front of the left side of the arrow. And to line it up, you need to find this like butterfly thing on the carpet. And if you want to do it in CSGO, you would aim here, but for CS2, I recommend aiming here. So it's like right in the middle and above it. And then when you press your runthrow, it should land perfectly inside of window. Now again, with this smoke, guys, if you're not so sure, go a little bit higher. This is the final spawn. So you could see that you're spawning right on this line. And it's pretty easy to remember. And to line it up, you find this white chair, and you go to the left of it, and aim right here. This is a way more forgiving lineup than the other two. But if you're not sure, go a bit higher again. Just spawn your runthrow. You can see this one as well will land perfectly inside of window. It's very unlikely that all 5 people on your team will not have the spawn, since there's only 17 different spawns on Mirage, and now you should know 12 of them. But in case it does happen and you still want to smoke window, you can always use the regular window smoke, so you would come here. And you would go from the same lineup from CSGO, but you should go higher, so I would go like this. Press D and then you press your normal jump throw button. And it should land perfectly inside window, but the thing about this smoke is that it's a bit slower, so make sure if you do it, you're not planning to like run up mid, run catwalk and take fights, since you will have to wait out the smoke or you will get sniped by a sniper. Or even killed by like an M4 or something, but you don't want to give up this kill. So if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you can like it, share it with your friend, comment, it all helps me so much. You're more than welcome to stop by on my stream and say hello. I sometimes show tips and tricks on my stream as well. Now I will try to do a more detailed Mirage video with like tricks or thoughts or different picks you can use or how to use the nade in the smoke meta and stuff like that, but I will keep you guys updated, and thank you so much. Bye bye.